Southern Hills, the PGA returns. Presented by Wilson Cadillac, home of the Escalade HQ.
Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The iconic Jewel opened for play back in 1936. It was Oklahoma native. You remember terrible Tommy Thunderbolt, who won the first of the previous 7 majors played here. That was the 1958 U.S. Open, John.
Yep, Dean, welcome to Tulsa. 1958, also the first year the PGA Championship shifted to stroke play instead of match play, so this will be the 64th edition of that format. And we have the largest team in the state covering this from every single angle. It's also the first major here in Tulsa in 15 years, and the setup is impressive. More skyboxes and chalets in more places around the course than ever, and the course itself, of course, is in immaculate condition.
No, it's always that way, John. It's the 5th PGA Championship, though, hosted here at Southern Hills. In fact, John, world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, who you took as your pick. I didn't get to have him, but anyway, hits his favorite golf course in the world.
After you had him to win the Masters, I know. And it's an even tougher course than the last time the best in the game battled here. A restoration by Gil Hance completed almost 4 years ago, included removing a lot of trees and reshaping the edges around some of the bunkers as well as other things. In the 7 previous majors here at the club, only 33 players total have completed the championship under par. Southern Hills moved up in the rotation for this one from 2030 to this year after the PGA terminated the contract with Trump National in Bedminster, New Jersey.
Well, and by moving this thing up several years, Oklahomans, you drew a break on that because the expectation is that Tiger Woods is going to be coming back here. He's in the field looking for his 15th major championship.
His improbable comeback continues. As just about everyone knows, Tiger was here almost 2 weeks ago for a practice round. And yes, we did send our helicopter in the air to get a glimpse. We also got a good look through the fence that day. He won the PGA Championship the last time Southern Hills hosted in 2007, sweating through that weekend in August for a 2-shot victory.
Tiger's camp made a late-night call to head pro Kerry Cosby, letting them know that they would be at the course the next morning. I guess that's how Tiger rolls. But Kerry caddied for Tiger as Woods had a lot of questions for the head pro on how to play the renovated layout.
It was every shot, every hole. You know, it was what are the changes here? What did Gil's work we did in 2018 and 2019, and ask angles. It was a business trip, and he, as they say, it's no hobby.
You know, maybe wishful thinking, but I was ecstatic learning that Tiger was going to play in the Masters, but I never considered him to be a threat in that thing. This one, though, feels different to me. First, John, he's won here at Southern Hills, and second, that he's healthier. He's had 6 weeks to grind his body and his game to get ready for this. He's again 40-1 as a long shot, but my money says that he's going to finish better than he did in Augusta as 47th place. That's going out on a limb, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, along with Tiger, the defending PGA champion Phil Mickelson will be at the center of attention. He's been away from the tour since comments he made about the Saudi Golf League and its backers and the PGA Tour were made public in February. It's an excerpt from a book about Mickelson that just happens to come out on Tuesday next week, and he didn't play the Masters.
No, he did not. We've seen a little bit of a role reversal. Actually, Tiger's always been the needle, John, under the microscope, but his popularity took a hit. You remember when he had the off-the-course problems, and it was happy-go-lucky Phil Mickelson who came out on the tour and who was the favorite. But now I think it's a different deal. Mickelson's out of favor with fans, I think, with some players, and certainly with some on the tour. And Tiger is the unquestioned number one draw. His comeback wins and the fact that he's become, I think, more mellow, accessible, more human.
Well, the biggest names in golf will obviously be here with Scotty Scheffler and Jon Rahm, the betting favorites. Can Rory McIlroy win his first major since 2014? And Jordan Spieth is still seeking the career Grand Slam.
6 players with local ties. Victor Hovland, 20-1 odds. John has more on Victor coming up. You'll love this. Answer, 50-1. Fowler, Wolf have the talent, but neither at the top of his game. Alex Noren is in the thing as well. several golfers are playing down at the Byron Nelson, and that begins tomorrow. That's one last tune-up, John, before heading here for the PGA. Some of these guys, I think, enjoy the chance to have one last tune-up. Some of them might just like Dallas at dark time.
Well, let's head to McKinney, Texas right now and bring in our very own Steve McGeehee.
Well, we have a heat wave here at TPC Craig Ranch, and so that's why I'm in the shade here off the number 6 tee box as the afternoon Pro-Am is just winding down. Some of the best golfers are here and really want to get a feel for the heat as they prepare for it next week up at the PGA Championship. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are here competing this weekend. Both have a great chance of winning this week and next week. They're great friends. In fact, JT is staying at Jordan Spieth's house this week before they move up to Oklahoma, and both with some positive comments on Southern Hills. Remember, they played there just 2 days ago.
I really, really liked it. I mean, I was blown away with just how good of a golf course it was. I thought tee to green, it was excellent. I thought it challenged kind of all facets of your game. You have to work the ball quite a bit.
What did you take away from your recent round at Southern Hills?
I think it's going to be a really firm and fast PGA, and I think it's going to be one of the higher scoring PGAs that we've seen. Now, I did play it in 35-mile-an-hour winds with Justin, so I saw the teeth of it, so that could change. But it was a great test. I really enjoyed playing it.
Conditions are going to be really similar. Obviously, golf courses aren't, but yeah, it's definitely a nice preparation. I think leading into next week, playing in some wind, and it's going to be warm here. It's going to be warm next week. So yeah, I think it's really good prep.
What do you hope to accomplish here to kind of set you up for that second major next week?
Win.
I love that. Will Zalatoris with a short, simple answer. Just win, and then worry about next week. Interesting, though, Dustin Johnson's never played at Southern Hills, so we'll see how fast he gets up there to take on the track. Perhaps you'll see him up there on Monday. Gentlemen, that's a wrap from McKinney, Texas. Let's send it back to Tulsa.
All right, Steve-O, thank you very much. Lots more to come. We feature the history of this place around here at Southern Hills, and later John's one-on-one with Victor Hovland. Hang in there for that.
We mentioned the first major here, the 1958 U.S. Open. The first PGA Championship at Southern Hills was in 1970. The huge crowds then were following Arnold Palmer, and he would come close but finished just short, tied for second with Bob Murphy. Dave Stockton held on down the stretch for the first of his 2 major championship victories after a final round 73.
Well, the return of the PGA Championship to Tulsa adds to a growing number of major international and national events that kind of put the spotlight on our state.
Our Tevis Hillis joins us now with a breakdown of how Oklahoma's presence on the world sports stage is evolving.
Well, we all know Oklahoma's known for their college athletics nationwide, but for others in the sports world, it might just seem like a flyover state. That's changed in recent years with the addition of the Oklahoma City Thunder, along with the return of the pinnacle of golf.
Oklahoma being centrally located right in the middle of the country with these great facilities, really becoming a hit state.
The 4 days of PGA Championship play estimated to bring in $143 million just to the city of Tulsa alone.
You have people renting out their houses in Oklahoma City and driving an hour and a half into the Tulsa area because there's that much of a demand for homes and hotel rooms.
So when you think of that support already being there and then Tiger coming into the mix, it really is set up for an incredible week for the state of Oklahoma.
As Dort, he'll catch fire 3, and that is good.
Here's a breakdown of the economic impact for each sporting event Oklahoma hosts. Since the Thunder began playing, it has brought in $700 million. And starting this year, the first tribal-owned basketball team. OKC River Sport is now the hotspot to host 7 worldwide competitions. The first 2 are in August. It's estimated to bring in over $10 million by 2025. In June, the Women's World College Series is expected to host 13,000 people.
They're only possible because of facilities and venues and partners that are unique to Oklahoma City.
Really a busy weekend ahead for Tulsa. Not only do they have the PGA Championship, they also have the Ironman Triathlon happening in parts of Tulsa and Osage counties. For Oklahoma's Own, I'm Tevis Hillis.
Thank you very much, Tevis. Big names and memorable stories are synonymous with Southern Hills lore. Colorful Oklahoma, we mentioned earlier. Tommy Bolt got things started by winning the first major here at Southern Hills.
Now we bring in Jonathan Husky with more on some of the best stories that sometimes don't involve winners and losers.
Yeah, you always remember who wins, who holds up the trophy at the end of the weekend, right? But it's the little behind-the-scenes stories that add color and character, and there's no shortage of those here in Tulsa.
Like many great tracks, Southern Hills is home to a few secrets of its own. For instance, it's believed that none other than Jack Nicklaus holds the honor of biggest gap between first and last appearance 41 years after his final round of the 1994 PGA Championship.
I mean, I'd love to play well. I love Southern Hills. I think it's a wonderful golf course. I played I go back here to 1953. And in the USJ Juniors, I was 13 years old when I first played here. And I played the Open in 58, and I played every other tournament that we've had since then.
The 1970 PGA Championship has some rarely heard stories of her own as well. The first PGA at Southern Hills, eventual champion Dave Stockton had to overcome caddy issues. Back then, players had to use local caddies, and the selection was purely luck of the draw. Luck that wasn't in Stockton's favor, at least at first.
Stockton's caddy, first practice round, he gets to the first or second hole, and David hit it in the bunker. So he just follows him right in and lays the bag down in the bunker. And so Dave said, I don't think this is going to work.
Stockton fired him. He said it was the first time he'd ever done that. Enter Jed Day, the son of a member, home from basic training and a scratch golfer. He took over Stockton's bag and helped guide him to a two-shot win.
They hit their irons about the same distance, so he could club him. Jed knew the greens, and to this day, Dave will say the reason I won, one of the main reasons was having Jed Day as a caddy.
Of course, some 50 years ago, the ticketing system wasn't as technologically advanced as it is today, and that gave rise to another issue. This one popped up at the 1977 U.S. Open. Counterfeits.
One of our guys comes up and says, hey, we were taking these tickets and the ink was running on the tickets. So we get in a cart and run down there. There's a guy out selling tickets, that he had just gotten one, cut out some cardboard. We were in the cart chasing him, but he got away. And we don't think he really sold that many.
So now the question is, 50 years from now, what stories are we going to be telling about the 2022 PGA Championship? Guys, back to you.
Jonathan, thanks. Coming up here from professional golf's fastest rising star before he arrives here at Tulsa, plus what we're expecting from a couple of former OU and OSU standouts.
After hosting another U.S. Open in 1977, Hubert Green's memorable win, the PGA Championship, returned here 5 years later, and it was over almost before it started. Ray Floyd's opening round 63 tied the course record. He went wire to wire, 3 rounds in the 60s on his way to a 3-shot win. Welcome back. The Hall of Fame architect Perry Maxwell designed the original layout here at Southern Hills, 360 acres of rolling hills and creeks, and yes, uneven lies everywhere.
No question about it. That's right, Dean. Despite the greatness of college golf in this state, only 2 former Cowboys and Sooners have won majors.
That's unbelievable. 1986, you remember the bunker shot, Bob Tway, PGA, OU's Todd Hamilton, the 2004 British Open, and another former Sooner has most of the answers to contend here at Southern Hills. That's Abraham Answer, and Lee Benson has more.
Abraham Answer is one of the best golfers in the world. A little more than a decade ago, then first-year OU head coach Ryan Hybl plucked Answer out of a Texas junior college. From there, Hybl says Answer changed the Sooners program.
At the time, our golf program was it just wasn't very good.
So Hybl hit the recruiting trail.
I actually went to a tournament to go check on another kid that we, were communicating with. And I ended up realizing that Abraham Answer shot 66 in the morning round. It was a 36-hole day. Didn't quite like what I saw to the other guy, and so I'm like, I'm going to go watch this guy. And sure enough, after about 5 or 6 holes, I'm like, this is our guy. We got to go after this guy.
And Hybl got his guy. Oklahoma eventually winning the recruiting battle over Wichita State.
Whenever you're struggling, you've got to find a guy that kind of gets you to turn that corner, and Abe was certainly that guy for us.
For 3 years, Answer gave Oklahoma a chance to win every time the Sooners teed it up.
Thank you.
He turned pro in 2013 after an OU career record 57 rounds of par or better.
Abraham Answer
has his first PGA Tour victory.
And next week, Answer tries to win his first major championship.
Honestly, the golf course fits pretty well for Abe because you have to keep it inside the fairway line there, and he's very good at doing that.
Plus, Answer's putting has improved immensely since college, which gives him a chance to win every time he tees it up.
Let's say to everybody that's going to go out at the PGA Championship, for sure, let's go get some Boomer Sooner chants for Abe. And I've been telling him that he's going to have some big crowds, so let's make him proud.
And the coach there hoping that his number 1 ranked Sooners will lead to a big turnout, looking for some of that momentum with Crimson and Cream in the gallery. John, you caught up with the stud, a former Cowboy, Victor Hovland.
Yes, he's candid and friendly and feels he can contend, especially if one part of his game is on target.
What's kind of held me back in those tournaments is that it gets so hard where even good shots miss the green, and now there's a huge emphasis on scrambling and get the ball up and down, which has not been my strong point. But I've done a lot of great work recently. The last couple of weeks have done me well, and I feel like I've improved a lot.
If you ask members out there, they will tell you that they think it's about 3 or 4 shots harder than it was. Do you come away with that obviously, tournament conditions are different, but did you sense that at all?
It might be 3 or 4 shots harder for them, but I think we're going to see a course that can play very different from day to day, depending on where the tees are put, which I think is a lot of fun.
Well, from Cowboys and Sooners to a Texas Longhorn, Scotty Scheffler is another one of the gifted golfers coming out of Austin. The lanky 25-year-old is in his early stage, I think, of his prime. That's when the athletes are at the peak of their powers, and that's where Scheffler is right now with a game to back it up.
Yeah, how about this? As Ken McLeod of Golf Oklahoma first reported, Scheffler shot a 6 under 64 during a practice round last Thursday with the course just saturated from last week's rain. That included 6 birdies on the back 9 that day. Today, as he prepares for the Byron Nelson Classic, Scheffler sounds excited about the restoration of Southern Hills by Gil Hanse.
I wouldn't say Gil made a ton of changes. Definitely cleared out a lot of trees, but other than that, most of the green complexes are pretty similar to what they were before, and there wasn't too many huge changes, but it was definitely nice to go up there and see the golf course again.
All right, still ahead, we're getting the inside scoop from one of the guys who thinks that his information may be the difference on the greens, from a caddy who's seen it all here at Southern Hills.
After 1982, the PGA Championship returned to Southern Hills 12 years later in 94. It was Arnold Palmer's final PGA, the only major he didn't win. The man who did was on a roll. Nick Price had claimed the Claret Jug, winning the British Open in July. And just like Ray Floyd in 82, Price took the lead on the first day and never gave it up. His 11 under total was 6 shots better than runner-up Corey Pavin. He may know the course as well or better than anyone else at Southern Hills. Dan Griffin first caddied at the course when he was 11 years old back in 1959, and he'll be on the bag for Sean McCarty, one of 20 club pros who qualified for the championship. And when it comes to figuring out the greens, Dan has a long-time fallback.
The front gate is the low point on the course, so as a caddy, if I have a putt out here that looks like it's straight, it's probably really going to lean toward the front gate a little bit.
Well, there's a tip there, Dean. How about the keys to winning this one this time around?
Well, keys to winning here, we're at the course Dan Jenkins called the dogleg capital of the universe. How about that? Well, play from the fairway. Make most 5 to 8 foot putts. In fact, make them all, and be patient. Weather delays are inevitable this time of year.
Well, patience, yes, and that's non-negotiable anyway, Dean. Regardless of weather, there aren't many green light pins you could describe around here. Precision is another one. Even the targets in the fairways to give you the best chances are small. And handling the wind. You heard the forecast earlier this evening. The forecast calls for some Oklahoma wind on the weekend. Dean, it's a second shot course for sure. And don't forget, only Tiger Woods is among golf's biggest names who have won here. So as far as that goes, this will be the 4th event Tiger Woods has played at Southern Hills. The first came when he turned pro in July of 1996. Then he won twice, and he earned enough money to qualify for the Tour Championship here that October. And a little exchange early that week made for some memorable TV, and this is how it went.
The sun is set on Pro-Am.
It all started last night during our 10 o'clock news. Our own Mike Wolf mentions Tiger Woods' name at the end of his story.
To see if Tiger Woods, the legacy that he started.
Well, today Tiger took issue with Mike after his practice round.
And it's Woods, not Wood. He said you did last night. I didn't. Woods. No, he said Wood. I know it's Woods.
Did he or didn't he? Let's go to the videotape. First at regular speed
to see if Tiger Woods, the legacy,
and now an enhanced version in slow motion.
Tiger Woods, the legacy that
It's faint, but it's there. The replay shows the play stands. There's an S. We just hope this little misunderstanding doesn't affect his play. We're pulling for you, Tiger. Knock on woods. Wood.
And we have one more Tiger talk in our major moment, our final major moment.
Well, Tiger Woods finished 21st way back in '96, the Tour Championship. But he was on a roll when he returned here in 2007. Tiger's second round, 63, his lowest round in a major. In Sunday's sweltering heat, Tiger won his 13th major, hoisting the Wanamaker for a fourth time.
What do you think winners-wise, Dean?
Score-wise?
Well, scores or winners, whatever you want.
I'm going to go with Patrick Cantley because you took Scotty Scheffler with the first pick.
No question about it. Yeah, and I'm going with Scotty Scheffler, and my long shot's Max Homa.
And my long shot is Taylor Gooch, Oklahoma State.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We look forward to next week.
Southern Hills, the PGA returns. Has been presented by Wilson Cadillac, home of the Escalade HQ.